Just because I love you, it don't mean I trust you. Everybody not to be trusted. Everybody around me thugging. Everybody around me drugging. Everybody around me hustling. Everybody know not to bring no new rigging around me. They say I be bugging. Got racks in the go-yard luggage. Just cause I love you, it don't mean I trust you. Everybody not to be trusted.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's another episode of Uncut with Q, and I'm your host, Quentin Flores. And on this show, we talk about everything growth, everything mindset. Guys, I really appreciate all the love that we've been receiving lately, man. All I ever ask from anybody that watches or listens to this show, that if you get value from this, just go out there and share it with somebody. I'm real big on word of mouth. And so the more that people that we can get this out to, the better it is for everybody. All right. We don't fucking charge nobody to be on this show. This is free. I'm not running any ads or any of that shit. So this is just our gift to you guys. And I want to see as many people grow from being a part of the show. All right. And so with that being said, man, today's going to be a long form episode. I got a really good friend of mine who's local legend here, San Antonio, Texas. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
Oh, what's up, guys? Local legend. That's
Come on,
crazy.
man.
I'm a noob, man. I'm not even seasoned. I don't know the streets yet. But man, my name's Jubaar Cross. You know, I've been doing real estate for 6 years, and I'm transitioning from the flips to the new builds. So that's why we got my homie Eric here, and he's gonna put some game on us about the new builds, man. It's something that not everyone does in real estate. Everyone knows about wholesaling with pace. Yeah. Everyone knows about creative. Yeah. Everyone knows about all this stuff, but Eric's really taking the new build game by storm. There's not a lot of people out there who are real and are authentic with what they're doing that do the new build. So what we're trying to do today is get some value out here and really educate some people on the new builds. And not only that, you know, make sure we get some of Eric's free game out here and really bless the people out there.
I really appreciate you being on the show, Eric. For everybody that's watching right now that has no idea who you are, drop an intro, please.
Eric Crutchfield, real estate developer out of Dallas, Texas. Teaching people how to build new construction homes and make 6 to 7 figures per deal.
Come on, man. That's insane, bro. That's insane. When you jumped into this business, was new builds the first thing that you started doing?
I started with a flip, but my second flip turned into new construction. So from that point on, I basically just new construction. I mean, I've still done some flips here and there, but I hate them every time I do them.
Dude, a lot of people, when they get in the game, they always talk wholesale. I think it's such a crazy dynamic to like just do the new construction right off of the rip. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because I was in prison for a long time, and while I was in there, I was studying all commercial real estate. So I know a lot of knowledge on commercial real estate. And it's funny that now I've been out for 5 years and I'm still doing residential real estate. So I don't know. I just got into new construction. I skipped past wholesaling, skipped past, subject to all the stuff you were just saying.
Wow.
And just stuck right to new construction. I started seeing those big profits. I was like, fuck, let's just double down. And that's kind of where I've been at now. So
wow.
It's big money.
Did you start with a lot of money?
I didn't, actually. I started with $150 from the gate.
What? How did you get the
gate,
money to start flipping and doing the new construction?
Yeah, so the first deal I ever had, I ended up borrowing from friends and family. It was $200,000 I borrowed, and I think I put in like $40,000. So I was in it for $240,000. I sold it for like $320,000. After all closing and everything, I pocketed like $50-something thousand to my pocket.
Wow. Yeah. And that just like once that happened, just no going back.
Yeah, so then I took it again. I found another flip. I was going to flip it. And then they were just starting forms on like the next 3 lots to me to where my flip was. And so I went over, I didn't even know what a forms was, but I mean, I knew they were going to build something, right? So I went over to the builder and I was like, hey, what are you guys building here? And he showed me the rendering of who he's going to build. And it was like this badass fucking 4 stories, modern duplexes. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I can't flip this because it was just like a 1-story, like,
put it to shame.
Squatters were in there. Like, it was bad, right? So I was like, fuck, I can't flip this. It's still going to be, this little 1-story crack house. And I got this sweet duplex next to me. The whole street's lined with these duplexes. And I'm like, shit, I bought a bad one. So I could either sell it, to a builder or man up and just build it myself.
Shit.
So I said, fuck it, let's build it. Let's figure it out.
Wow, man. Going into this, if you don't mind sharing, like, what were some of the initial steps that you took to really do that? You know what I'm saying? Because it seems like a massive project to build something like that. I'm sure there's a lot of people involved too.
Yeah, it was massive. So, I mean, there's only a couple ways I could have taken that on, right? I mean, I was fresh out of prison, not much knowledge. I got a lot of knowledge on commercial real estate, not much on new construction, like absolutely none on new construction. I didn't come from a construction background. I was a drug dealer most of my life. Personal trained, you know, to make it look like I had a job. Selling drugs mainly was my occupation. So I really didn't have any construction experience. And so there's only a few ways I could have gone about it, you know. Find a partner that can bring that knowledge to me, because I already owned the land, right? So I was kind of like, you could say, the money guy, and then bring a partner in. Or I could hire a builder, or I could hire a mentor maybe. You know, not many mentors were around like they are this day and age, you know.
Yeah,
like it's
everywhere.
kind of like a new phenomenon where you can find coaches.
You swing a dead
lot,
cat around, slap a mentor, bro.
Exactly. A lot more easily you can find mentor and coaches now, which is cool because like we can help people.
Yeah.
So that kind of wasn't an option back then. So basically it was either hire a builder or bring on a partner that knows more than me. So that's what I did. I brought on a partner. I said, look, man, I own the land. I don't know shit about building this thing, but I have extremely strong faith in myself. And I know I can get it done. And I'm willing to put in the work and do whatever it takes to get this thing done. So brought him in. We split it 50-50. I said, you help me get the lending. You know, I'm fresh out of prison. So we ended up actually trying to run it through my name and everything. We got down to like the 11th hour, about to close on the construction loan. And they found out I had just got out of prison. So they fucking said, no, man, we can't loan to you, you know. It was crazy because hard money lenders don't even really check that stuff. So, but I think it was just I was so fresh and out, like, so then we had to fucking scramble and find another lender, and I ended up getting fucked like 14%.
Wow.
Like 3 points, some crazy shit. But he said he would do it. I actually ran it through my sister's name this time. I took everything out of my name, put it in my sister's name, ran it through that bank, and you know she don't have any experience either, so it's still kind of fishy. But he said he'll do it, so. We did it. My partner kind of helped me on it. You know, he had the relationship with the other guy too. So we got it done. And yeah, man, I ended up building that duplex. I bought the land right next to me and the land on the other side. So I built 6 units there and made like $500,000.
Wow.
Bro.
Dude, hold up. Like, come on, man. Pew, pew, pew. Hold up. That's honestly awesome, dude.
It's pretty crazy.
And to come straight out of prison and jumping into this, what was the most... I want to ask, not challenging, because I feel like we get that a lot, but the question I want to ask you, what was the most valuable thing that you learned while you were in prison that you apply to your business today?
Shit. I think it's work ethic. You know, there's a lot of different things, man. Focus. You know,
Focus
so
and
many
work ethic.
distractions. Like even in prison, like. I had a schedule, like I would wake up, I would read. I read a fucking lot. I don't read as much out here, but that was like working for me in there, you know. I was just like feeding my brain. So now I just work constantly. I still worked out in there, work out here, eat right. So things like that. But man, I also I don't take no for an answer. Like somebody tells me no, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go and figure it out, right? If I believe that it can be done or I've seen somebody else do it, like I'm gonna go do it. So definitely don't ever take no for an answer.
That's kind of how you got around to getting the funds that you needed for the deal, too.
Exactly. There's
always like, because that guy shut his door on you and judged the fuck out of you, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens a lot,
it's
bro.
It's a crazy story, though, because he shut his doors on me then, and then later, after I sold all those, he opened the doors back up to be a lender for me, because now I had the experience, right?
Yeah.
So then, and he offered good terms with low down payments, so I wanted to use him. So he started lending to me, and I started up slowly, and then I became like his number 2 builder for him. Like 2 years later, I was like his number 2 builder.
Isn't it funny how that works out?
It's crazy.
That is, man. And I truthfully believe that like there's always that trial and tribulation, and then like when you start doing stuff and you know what you're capable of, you have that inner belief that you can do it already because you've already gone through it. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of people that can go through what you went through, bro, and then get out and do what you did. It's honestly like very few. You know, maybe there are a lot of people now because the access is so there, right?
Still not, man.
Nah,
it's
bro.
like
The people that go to prison, it's like an 87 recidivism rate. You know, like over 8 go back out of 10.
wow.
Bro, it's motherfuckers out here in the streets that ain't even doing the right thing.
yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
got their whole
They
freedom.
ain't even gotta
in
go to
front of
prison.
them.
It's
Don't
still
even
hard.
gotta go to prison. They're not doing the right thing. Let me ask you. You were talking about the lending portion of like the trouble when you got it. Now, do you think that the credit is as important, or do you think having the actual like experience and track record like was what held you back? Like, did he go, oh, you don't have any credit at all, or you don't have any experience? Which one do you think stopped him from lending to you on that first deal?
Yeah, both of them I didn't have when I got out. So I was gone, over 7 years, and after 7 years, everything falls off your credit. So like I didn't have shit on there. So that was one, but I think it was more no experience. I think no experience outweighs credit. Like if you have a lot of experience and successful deals under your belt, you could probably talk the lender into giving you some loans.
Okay, because I asked that because I'm looking to, like I said, work with you or learn from you in your community and start doing new builds next year. My goal is to do 10 new builds. I'm saying that now to hold myself accountable. But right now I have real estate fix and flip experience. Now, is that something that translate over to the new build side? Like right now I'm doing 2 flips right now, $500,000, $250,000 flips and whatnot. One of them I'll make, 6 figures, so I can show that I'm able to take down big deals. But would that help when it comes to doing the new builds? Or are they going to say, hey, you need to be able to do a new construction ground up, and this is not something that we would qualify as experience?
Definitely the experience from fix and flips is going to help you get into new construction. They might say you need it's going to come down to a relationship that you have with your lender.
Okay.
If they know you and you've got a few successful deals with them, and do they lend on new construction?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so you should be fine. I mean, you got to do one. I mean, the only thing you don't know yet is basically architecture and foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, and sub plumbing. That's about it.
Yeah.
Once you get the sticks up, you can take over.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to learn from there. It's crazy because my first partner that I said that I split 50-50 with, he had never built new construction ever. So he really didn't know it. He was just one of my really good friends, but he had done a bunch of flips. But I told him, I'm like, bro, we can fucking do this shit. I met the builder next door and he's fucking a jackass. So it's like, dude, we can fucking figure this shit out. I know 100% we can figure this out because he's like really detail oriented and stuff. And I was just had crazy ambitions. I still do.
Yeah.
But I was really crazy back then.
Do you think you'll ever transition to the commercial side and use that knowledge you got?
Yeah, I'm still going to go over there. I'm just kind of enjoying where I'm at right now. Mm-hmm. I build like $1 to $3.2 million homes, but now I'm about to take the leap to $5 to $8 million homes. So there's still some challenging things I want to get into and get under my belt in this sector. But I definitely want to get into my first commercial development, probably 2025, and
Gotcha.
I want to learn that whole game as well.
That leap up to that $5 million now, is that going to come from building bigger houses where you're at now, or relocating to a new location where it's more expensive and you can build the same type of structure?
Yeah, so Dallas, I'll be focused on Dallas, building around $5 to $8 million homes. But I am in the process of living in Florida and Dallas, and there's a reason behind that because I do want to start building like $10 million and up there. So
okay.
I see it, man. I know that I'm like sleeping on deals like this. I love conversations like this because it just makes me want to challenge myself more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The biggest deal that I've ever done, Eric, and this is years ago, 2017. I was a $500,000 assignment fee on a 20-unit apartment complex right behind San Antonio College. Yeah, I did. And honestly, I almost got sued because there was homeless people having orgies inside of it. I had to get them out, crazy. So I got them out the hood way. I fucking threw smoke bombs in there and roach bombs and shit. It was the 4th of July, dude.
Shit.
Yeah, this was one of my first real big deals. And to the point, up until this point, I was living in a townhouse and I was trapping. And I was trapping while doing real estate. And so fuck, dude, I didn't want to do that anymore because I was about to be a dad. So to me, I was just like, this is such stupid fucking money and I'm throwing away something huge. My landlord came to my apartment and he had literally told me, he said, Q, what have you been up to? Mind you, this is the most Mexican guy that you'll ever know in your life. He'll literally be behind you, be like, hey, ¿cuántos años tienes? And then, hey, what are you up to? And he would not even know, right? And so I'm talking to him and he's just like, you still selling weed in my apartment? He knew, and I was like, nah, man, I started moving deals for real estate investors. And he was like, what? Well, I have this 20-unit apartment that I bought when I was 35 years old in 1995, and I've just kept it. I never did anything with it, and it's just sitting there. And I said, what? And he's like, you bring me an investor, I want $800,000 for it. And so I put that bitch under contract for 800 grand. My friend Joseph Irons is a local real estate guy here. He was real big with public speaking. So he works for Tony Robbins' team now.
Yeah.
And Joseph bought it from me for 1.3.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was my first big deal that put me in a position to open up my first real estate office, hire a team. I put all that money back into marketing, but man, if I would have kept going and doing bigger deals like that, because I feel like I sacrificed a lot in the sake of volume. Most people, when they think new construction, and this is me from the outside, right? I'm thinking like maybe 5 to 10 deals a year, but big pops, you know? And to me, I'm like, man, I'm fucking trying to do 15, 20 wholesale deals a month. That's what I knew. That's what I was taught, you know, because I didn't have the money or credit to get into the real estate game. So for me, this was just something that I knew that I really wanted to do, and it was in front of me. But you made a way, and you probably had less money than I did coming out from literally being gone for so long, you know? When you started getting out and learning all of this real estate stuff, what was the fastest way that you gathered all of this knowledge? Were you on YouTube? What were you doing?
Man, I was consuming everything. You gotta think I was locked up for so long, and all I had access to was like books that, you know, my support and family would send in. And that was, you know, not as often as I would like, because I crush a book in like a day or two. You know what I mean? Because we ain't got shit to do in there. You're just fucking sitting in there. So it's like one book doesn't last long. So when I got out, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm in heaven. You know what I mean? Got podcasts and YouTube and fucking bigger pockets and like all that shit. So yeah, I was just fucking a maniac on everything. It's, you know, when I got out, I was probably listening to some real estate shit. Or
did you shoot straight to mentorship when you got out?
No, I just started mentorship like this year.
Oh, no, not like you as a coach, but you investing in a coach.
No,
Partner, sounds like.
Yeah, a partner.
Partner.
I brought a partner on.
Let me ask you about adversity. Obviously, you dealt with a lot of adversity.
I still do.
And you're like, yeah, we all do. Yeah. Like, you know, but when you're sitting there in front of a judge and like, cause you know, there's a lot of people who think that they want to like, you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never really tell people this, but you know, I used to sell back then, and you know, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you how much, but you know, I'll just put it like the way we used to do it is meet on the country roads, window down, or keep going our opposite ways. That's how we used to get down. And so I ask you, and I'm thank God nothing ever, you know, I'm very blessed and protected. Nothing came out of it. But when it comes to adversity, when you're sitting in front of that judge and you go from, you know, the lifestyle, I'm sure you were, you know, out hustling and bustling all that stuff. But when the gavelin hits and they're like, okay, what was your initial sentence?
10 years.
10 years. And like when that hits and settles in, like 10 years, I'm going in here. And you had a kid on the way, right? Or you had a son.
He was 2.
He was 2, so he was already here. You had already built that bond with him. What was that like? Like, mentally, where did that put you going into that facility, knowing that, hey, once these doors close behind me, you know, I can't really turn around. I got to go through this and get shit done.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. It was crazy, honestly. I had my whole family there, like, at least, you know, my mom, I think my aunt was there. And yeah, they were like, Eric Crutchfield, you know, Texas Department of Corrections sends you to 10 years. You know, I was like, fuck, my fucking. But then again, you know, it's like, even you say you drive up and roll down the window. I mean, yeah, but you still drove with drugs. Yeah. And you knew what could have happened when you had that, right?
Yeah.
So it's not so crazy because, like, we were taking chances. We were taking prison chances.
Yes.
So, I mean, it is crazy. I mean, and I did a lot of prison chances in my lifetime. So I was like, fuck, here we go. You know, I signed up for this shit, so let's fucking get it going. But yeah, 10 years was like, fuck, that's a long time, man. And then it's just, you're kind of just in disbelief, right? You don't really know what's going to happen because you've never been through that. So they just fucking handcuffed me, put me back in the little holding cell, and then transport you back to county cell and all that shit. And then you start talking to people, you know, other, you know, people locked up in there, other criminals are like, so they just sentenced me to 10 years in prison. What does that mean? They're like, well, you're going to get picked up in about 30 days. You're going to get sent off to a prison, and then you're going to come up for parole. And then you start figuring out, well, when do I come up for parole? Do I need to get a parole attorney? Well, you know, and then you go down that, figure all that shit out. And then you're like, well, okay, I got 10 years, but I was up for parole at 15 months. So now you're like, okay, fuck the 10 years. I can get out in 15 months. So now you just put it in your head, you're like, I'll be out in 15 months, right? So that's how it started. And then that kind of helped you, like, settle into it, you know? Well, I did, like, over 7 years, because I got 6 set-offs, and a set-off means like 1 year. You come up for parole, and they set you off for 1 year, so you come back up in another year. I got 6 of those in a row, and then they finally granted me parole and let me out, and I had like 2.5 years left on parole.
Okay, so I'm tracking. And before that, like before you decided, hey, I'm gonna serve my first bag, what was life like growing up? Were you like, was your family like, did you have good family, good mom, and all that type of stuff, or like? Because a lot of people don't understand, like, we're not bad people. Q,
Yeah.
I know you were popped for some stuff, probably a little bit. And, like, we're all here together right now as real estate guys. Like, you know, you guys have
crazy, to
kids.
be honest,
and
bro.
we're like, you know, I mean, we're all earning well over 6 figures a year doing what we do right now. And I know for a fact, like, you know, the only reason I started doing what I was doing is because I was homeless. You know, my family grew up Section 8. My mom, I had an older brother who died when I was 5 and he was 11. It was my mom's firstborn. From there, she started taking in alcohol, like, and consuming it like none other, because she, you know, fell into depression. And each year it just got worse. So life for me was pretty bad by the time we got 15. By the time I turned 15, you know, we got barred and evicted from Section 8, which is pretty goddamn hard to do.
Yeah.
If you know about Section 8, like the government pays for everything.
Yeah.
All you need to pay is your utilities.
Right.
But my mom was so down bad that she, you know, had a boyfriend that was selling drugs, and he'd keep her all doped up, and she was on alcohol and stuff. I didn't see her for days, weeks at a time. And so I know that was kind of the reason I got into it, just because I wanted a little money. It wasn't because I was bad. But for you, I'm curious to know, prior to, you know, picking up that first, you know, sack or whatever it is, you know, that, you know, you were doing, what was life like? And, you know, was that adverse, or was that just a normal lifestyle?
You know, it definitely wasn't a normal lifestyle. I think I was raised right up until I got to about like 12, 13. My parents divorced at 2 years old, so 2 different families, right? Growing up, broken family, which wasn't that bad. I mean, it's common. And then I think I get to like 12, 13, and then they both go through another divorce. So then that stepmom and that stepdad go away, and then now they're like both looking, you know, for another one. So I think that's when I started to rebel, because then maybe I was rebelling out or acting out to get attention from them, or, you know, my mom, right? I don't know what it is, but, you know, I've talked to counselors and shit, and this is kind of what they tell me, but I don't know too much about any of this shit. But so if you're a counselor out there, maybe you call me, help me out. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe I was rebelling, whatever it was, to get their attention, and then I kept getting fucking, I got suspended from school. Then my mom kicked me out of the house. Then I went and lived with my dad, and I fucking hated it over there. And then he kicked me out back to my mom, and like after a year, 2 years, and yeah, by that time I was like, you know, fuck everything, and fucking I started a downward spiral. I moved out when I was 17, got an apartment, and then yeah, birds of a feather flock together. So got with the wrong people, and that's when the life started to go really downhill fast. Started drinking a bunch, taking drugs, Xanax, ecstasy, fucking stupid shit, taking steroids. And mainly what I was selling was steroids. I sold a lot of pain pills and Xanax and ecstasy and stuff like that, but mainly I was selling steroids. That's where like a bunch of my money was.
You were a fitness coach too.
Yeah,
right?
I was a personal trainer and stuff.
Yeah.
When I was 18, but then I started selling drugs and, you know, making a lot of money. So I was living on my own, and everybody's partying at my house, and I couldn't keep.
You're the guy. Yeah.
I couldn't keep a job. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how that all went.
You know, man, I gotta tell you, bro, and I think that this is such a, like, you have such a cool and calm demeanor about you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you've probably been through so much shit that nothing surprises you anymore, man.
Doesn't.
You know, and like, I love that there's not just, it's not calm and cool, it's confidence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I see it through what you've gone through and just what you're telling me. We actually have a lot in common. You know what I'm saying? I'm 34. How old are you, bro?
41.
41? Fucking shit, man.
I was locked up from 27 to 35.
Yeah, dude. Some of my best friends went to prison, bro. I only did a year and a half. I got a little slap on the hand. I never even went to prison.
Yeah.
But like, to me, you know, I just remember when I was in there, all I could ever think about was just, man, how the fuck am I going to get out? Because my shit was supposed to be 5. I got granted parole within a year and 2. You know what I mean? But it was a drug-related bullshit that I went through. My house got raided, and they took everything I had. I'm very grateful, bro, to have gotten out. And I had a great attorney, and I had a lot of people that knew that I was a good person. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, my family was also real involved during this time. But, man, you know, I just think that it's hella cool, bro. Like, you don't see that a lot. You don't see that a lot. Most people that have gone through shit like that, they're like, man, fuck everybody, bro. Yeah. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to make shit happen for myself, dude. You know what I'm saying? And, like, when you showed up, if you don't mind me saying, like, I saw what you got, but you don't seem like the type of guy. Yeah. Like, it's two entirely different things. If anything, you just like it. It's not like you care if I like it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I like it.
It's fucking cool, man. You know, and I think, like, what I wanted to know,
it, you know, it's not that big a deal to me.
What got you to this mindset now that allows for you to be calm and cool when hardship happens, when hard times come?
Man, I've read a lot of shit, man, honestly. A lot of personal development shit, like, and I forgot what the book was, but, like, big things are small things and don't sweat the small shit or some shit like that. And it's like all the big problems, you know. I know one quote that I used to, like, live by is like, if it's not going to affect you in 5 years, don't let it affect you now. You know, and that's kind of like how I think. It's like, I've seen so much shit, crazy shit. You know, I've been in prison. I've seen motherfuckers thrown off third row. I've seen fucking stabbings next to me. I've seen gangs jump people. Like, I'm sitting there watching TV and dudes just getting jumped, like, crazy shit. Like, they piss and shit in a big-ass bucket and throw it on the guards. Like, all kinds of shit. Boiling water on guards' face, you know. It's like, it's great. It's wild shit. Yeah. So it's like, nothing can really faze me anymore, you know. I'm just like, but also, it's not even that important of shit, you know. If it's not going to affect me later on, like, I'm not too worried about it, right? I mean, I'm healthy, I'm happy, I got a good family. I woke up, I'm blessed. It's like, I'm good, man.
Can't complain. Dude. That's you know really what it comes down to. It's like, just gratitude.
Like, when I first got out, I'd be rolling around with my mom. I tell people this sometimes when they fucking get upset, and my mom is like getting mad at the traffic. And I'm like, Mom, you haven't seen me in 7 years. Like, I'm sitting next to you in a car, right? Like, what the fuck the traffic? Let's just sit here. Like, who cares about the traffic? Like, we're moving, we're going home, you know? It's like, she's just like, oh, get out of my way. I'm like, what the fuck?
We're not going back to a cell. We're going home.
We're not, like, no, let's just chill in the car for a minute.
That's cool.
Take our time to the house.
Yeah.
So, I think whenever I said that to her, that gets her thinking every time she, like, gets mad at traffic now. She's always like, well, fuck, Eric. Yeah, true. It's not that big a deal, right?
Is your kid involved with everything that you do? Like, does he get a chance to see all of this? Because I know you told me you had one when you were going in. He's probably older now, right? So he's like, what, 12, 13?
He'll be 16 in, like, 90 days.
And he, like, follows your stuff, too? Like, does he support?
All his friends follow me on social media. Oh, that's so
dope, dude.
I'm like, fuck.
Does he want to do what you do?
He's still at the age, he's like 15 and a half, so he just likes soccer a lot. So he goes to a private soccer academy, and he plays soccer all the time. So he's not really thinking about career-wise, you know. He's just thinking of, like, pro soccer player or something. So, but, you know, if that dream ever falls, like, I'm here. So I tell him, like, yeah, whatever. But, you know, he keeps asking for money, too. I'm like, look, I'm not just going to fucking give you money, you know what I mean, turn you into this fucking spoiled, rotten kid, right? You know, and I was doing that not on purpose, but, like, he'll ask me for money, and I would just, like, I can send money to his account, right? So I'd be, like, sending, like, $500 to his account, not thinking that's, like, a lot of money to a kid. Yeah. I'm just like, don't ask me again.
That's a shitload of money. That's a lot of money. Like, give a bro all the Robux,
even with inflation, bro.
I'm just like, fuck, let me just send it so he don't ask for it again, right? Yeah. Well, then he starts just going to buy shit, and he spend money, like, $300 at the mall, and, like, I'm like, dude, I just sent you money. What the fuck you need more money for? You know, and that's when I was like, oh, shit, I don't need to be sending him money like that. You know, I need to at least make him work, do chores, that type of shit, you know. So, I don't want to raise a spoiled, rotten kid, but where were we going with that?
Well, I guess what I wanted to know is, like, what is the balance here between family and business? Because a lot of people, when they focus on building, they, like, really neglect a lot of stuff. And you're here not because you're going to be on my podcast, but you're here because of family. And I thought that was so real, bro. So I just want to know how you go about balancing those two things.
Yeah, I mean, definitely family, man. My son, I've missed him for 7 years, so I'm there. Like, I do whatever I can for him, you know, not just money. Of course, I pay for all his shit, but whatever, soccer tournaments, here we are, I'll take you, even if it's not my weekend. Me and his mom have a 50-50 custody, so I get him part of the week, and then she gets him part of the week, and then every weekend we switch. So, yeah, but if it's not my weekend, it's like, yeah, I'll take him. It's my son. Like, yeah, of course I'm gonna take him.
I'm never gonna say no. I'm the same, bro.
Like,
I just went through a divorce recently.
Of course I'm gonna take my fucking son. It's like,
I got 50-50. I don't fucking do shit, bro. I don't party. I don't go to clubs. I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
I've been sober for 4 years already.
Congratulations.
And I fucking, to me, just, I don't do shit. So when my baby mom's like, I know it's your weekend. Dude, bring that little dude over here,
Yeah.
bro. I don't care if he was gonna talk. He was talking about coming in and sitting in on the podcast. I told him I had this guy here who's like a freaking superhero coming in, and then you were gonna walk in here, but he wanted to go and play Roblox with his homies. He's 8,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
David.
But it's cool, man. It's
get it.
cool. I think the most challenging part for me, being a dad and then having a business, has always just been figuring out the balance in between the two, where I could just fully focus on being a dad and not have to focus on business.
Yeah.
But I think as an entrepreneur,
exactly.
it just doesn't exist,
what I was
man. You
about
just
to
got to
say.
learn how to run a business with a kid.
So like I've always been like a hustler boss. Like I don't work well with under people, you know what I mean? So that's another reason why I wanted to get into real estate and become, a real estate developer. Just I control everything. I make my own fucking rules and schedule and do whatever the fuck I want to do, right? So yeah, I can pick my son up. I can take him whatever the fuck time it is, I make my own schedule. So that's another great reason you should get in real estate development.
Boom.
Yeah, man. And there's one thing that I want to talk about that you were saying about giving your son money and having him earn it. A lot of people, what they need to realize when they're looking at us right now is you have 3 generations. I'm 20, in my 20s. You're in your 30s. You're in your 40s. You're
crazy.
a white guy. You're a Hispanic dude. I'm a black dude.
I love it.
And the thing that brings us together is, one, we all had that checkered past.
Yeah.
Number 2, we all learned a new skill set being real estate that can increase our income. See, a lot of people, and I hope you're listening to this when I say this, a lot of you guys that are in tough positions, that are in like, whether you're selling drugs or you're just a bum on the side of the road, the thing that's stopping you from being where you want to be is a skill set. A lot of people think, oh, I need money, hand me money. That shit is gonna go in as quick as it go out as quick as it came in. What you really need to do is learn a new skill set.
Yes.
And even when you learn that skill set, continue to challenge yourself. This dude can wholesale the shit out of the houses. I can flip some shit and he can build some shit. But here's the truth. He's gonna go get a new skill in commercial. I'm gonna go get a new skill in bill. He's gonna go get a new skill in really coaching and everything. Really, whatever it is that you decide you
Podcast.
do. You're all podcasting, content creation. This dude puts out, man, these 2 dudes put out so much damn content. Like that's all my feed is Q and Eric and Wes Watson, and you know what I'm saying? So like the biggest thing what people need to understand too, and I hope, because we attract that type of crowd. You attract that type of crowd. You do. It's going to be the people who want the tats. I don't have the tats, but it's going to be the people who listen to Dolph, who listen to Wes, right? These type of people. The snowflakes aren't listening to this.
Right,
Like we already offended them. Like when we said we sold drugs.
When I said fuck.
So yeah, you said fuck. They turned
They
it
tuned
off.
up.
It's already off. So like one thing he's saying, and one thing that really I want people to realize when they're listening to this, it's the skill set, right? And the better and the harder your skill set is to learn, the more money you're going to make, because there's less and less people willing to sacrifice to get to where you're going. So a lot of people need to realize, man, that this world is literally about, number one, connections, and then using those connections to learn stuff, man. I think this dude's going to teach me a lot about the new build stuff. I joined his community the same way I joined Q's community for the wholesale stuff. So it's like, dude, if you're out there and you're listening to this and you're like, man, I'm trying to get on these dudes' level. I'm not even on shit. I'm telling you that now. But, if you're trying to get on $100,000, I'm just now doing my first $100,000 flip. I've been averaging 40K a flip before this one, but I'm like, I can go do 100, 200 in a new build every single pop. Yeah. So, but what's getting me there is not just asking for handouts, but rather learning a new skill and investing into someone like Eric to teach me that. So I hope you guys got that.
And that's where I was going when I was talking about my son, not just sending him money, I wanted to teach him something, but, he wants to be a pro soccer player or whatever. I told him when he turned 16, I'll get him a car and I'll buy him like a business or a landscaping trailer, right? I did landscaping for a long time. So I want him to earn his own money, become an entrepreneur, stuff like that. So I just told him in the car, like, what are you doing back there on your phone? I hope you're, studying landscaping or trees or sod or plants or some shit like that. So because you're about to be 16 in 90 days. So like, I'm not fucking giving you money like you expect me to.
Then you're out of high school in 2 years.
Yeah,
like
I'll buy everything and spend money on helping you achieve, a business or creating the income that you want.
We're just gonna hand it.
You
to
ain't
him.
gonna get it from me. Yeah, exactly.
And it's great that you're going to his events and supporting him and stuff. Because I remember when I was a kid, man, I was star quarterback. Like, you can Google my shit, and I'm pop up everywhere. Like, lights out. I mean, I think I only lost like 2 games in one season once. And the thing is, I used to beg my mom, like, come look at me. I'm in the newspaper. I'm on the news. Like, come watch me. She would never go. But one thing my mom, and here, I'm not even dogging her, because one thing my mom blessed me with is she say, son, look, right now you're relying on your physical strength. Same with your son with soccer. But she was like, you need to get your mental right, because physical is something that can be taken away from you and that people can take away from you. But what's in your head is something no one could ever take away from you. So I will say, like, it's cool that you're supporting him, but I know you got that in the back of your head. You're like, one day he's gonna wake up and realize, like, I could try to be Ronaldo, but I go get this new bill money.
So
I've been seeing this a lot, that a lot of these new generation kids, these 15, 13-year-olds, bro, they follow me on IG. They probably follow you too.
That's what I'm saying.
They reach out to us and they're like, yo, man, I want to learn, bro. And like my little brother and my little brother-in-law on my ex-wife's side, right? They're both like my little brothers, bro. I love them. I raised those kids, right? And so like one of them went down the same path that I went. Drugs, fucking abusive family, abusive dad, all of that. And I saw that happen to him. The other one is my little brother, my biological little brother. He came in when my mom was already in her 40s. And she was not dancing. She was not doing drugs. She wasn't with men that were beating the shit out of her. And that's where my mom's came from. And so seeing my mom marry a new man who's my stepdad, who raised me for the last 20 years. I met him literally 22 years ago. And he was my dad's replacement. I had to learn how to love this man. You know what I'm saying? Because he loves my mom. And so it's been years, and I see him as my father. He raised his kid right. Me and my other brothers and sisters, we all come from a way different background. What's so crazy, bro, is that people from both dynamics now have the same access. So there's no excuses. Both of them, at the age of 16, I mentored both of them into closing their first real estate deal at my office, bro.
Wow, bro.
My little brother at 16 and my other little brother-in-law at 16 too. He dropped out of school to be in my shit. My other brother graduated, and in between summer school, worked in my office, closed his first one. So I think right now we're at a time where there's just so much fucking access that I really don't care if you're 15 or 14 and watching this anymore. Like, there's just no excuse as to why you can't be a millionaire by the time you're 21. You know, because there's just so much access. I'm pretty sure you get a lot of people that message you that are young too, right? What do you tell those guys?
So the whole reason why I even like do coaching and mentorship is because I had so many people reaching out to me like, hey, how can I do this? How can I do this? How'd you do it? Bro, you were just in prison. What the fuck? You know, how do you have all this shit? Like, how the fuck can you do it? And I was just like, all right, look, I'm going to have a fucking master class. I'm going to teach whoever the fuck wants to learn this shit, right? And I told my girl, I was like, man, if I sell 10 tickets, you know, I'll be happy. You know, I just want to teach some shit. And dude, I sold 40 tickets like that. And I was
Holy
like,
shit.
I was like, fuck. Well, because I knew there was a demand there because people always asking me. So, and I'm still selling a shitload of tickets. So it's cool. But that's how all that shit started. You know, I didn't like ever see myself. Like, it was not on my goal list to become a mentor or a coach ever. You know what I mean? It was all like real estate and I want to own this many units and I want to make this much money and, you know, shit like that. But
where do you think that stems from? Like, for you, like wanting to help people like that, like, where does that come from?
Because of my history and my story, like, you know, where I came from and all my experiences that I've seen, you know, I've seen fucking all these dumbasses just fucking keep going back to prison, you know? It's like, I have the fucking tools to change your fucking life, bro. Like, you do not, even when I just see people fucking up, I'm like some of my friends or what, you know, that used to be friends I try to get away from, I'm just like, bro, you have access to me. And you literally saw me get out of prison and you see what I do now, where I live and what I drive and fucking all the shit that I do. And you haven't asked me not one time to fucking help you, to show you, to teach you, to invest with me. Nothing. My dude, like, their mindsets are fucked up, and they just, I don't know. But
There'd be a lot of pride in there too. Like a lot of people don't like to ask for help just because like they're prideful, man. Like they're like, hey, you know, they might think someone's gonna look down upon them just for asking. And like,
I've had
you
people
know,
say that to me too. They're like, man, I didn't want to do it, man. I know it looks bad, but man, I just got to. I'm like, why does it look bad? Like that you're trying to better yourself and learn new skills? Like what the fuck? Like society's fucked up.
It is,
you know
man.
what I mean?
Yeah. And like that's the thing. Like, I mean, I don't consider myself a coach. I help people get business funding for their companies and invest it the way they want to, because a lot of people's, you know, a lot of people's roadblock is just getting access to capital, similar to how yours was when you first got out. And you know, people say that all the time, like, you know, they're like, oh, coaching me, all these gurus and all this and that. I'm like, bro, if you have something to offer that can actually impact someone's life and you're not just scamming motherfuckers, do it, bro. Like a lot of these, and I was just like you, I never wanted to make an Instagram that says DM me this, where I never want to do that shit. Like ever. I just thought, I was like, I'm not doing that until I'm a multimillionaire, because no one's gonna, like, you know, like Wes says, motherfucker, no one's listening to you unless you listen to yourself type shit. You know? So I was like on that, but like, man, as long as you have something like that, something of value, bro, like you can really change people's lives. Like you can really impact them.
I mean, it's not hard to stand out in this world, man, because there's so many fucking followers. It's like, if you're just authentic and honest and actually do what the fuck you say you're gonna do, it's like you stand out already from everybody. It's like, them motherfuckers don't do shit.
Nothing, bro.
It's like, bro, fuck. It's not that difficult. Just work your fucking ass off and be real and fucking study and try to keep growing. Even if you fucking flipped your first house and you lost 30 grand. Try it again. I
ain't never lost money flipping.
Yeah, I neither have.
Shit, I have fucking.
Yeah,
money,
no.
But, you know,
I'm just. Fucking,
it's all good though. You
knock
know what
on
I mean?
wood too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You know,
I ain't never stopped, even when
but it's
I
not
failed.
gonna stop. You know, it's not like you give up and you're like fuck, and you just go get a job at wherever.
Yeah, no. You can't do that.
It's like you're gonna keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. You know, just like that bank told me no. I could have fucking stopped and just been like, all right. I was working a logistics jobs for one of my best friends. He gave me a logistics job because I had to have a job on parole. And I was on parole 2.5 years, so I did that for like a year, and I could have just gone back to that, you know, and been like, oh, fuck this shit, man. It's too hard. Then I wouldn't be sitting in the seat right now, right?
Right.
So,
or the next seat you're going to be sitting in.
Exactly.
Right.
That's real.
And that's why my mindset has never changed. It's like whatever got me here, I'm still have the mindset in my mind. Like it's all about growth. I want to grow and challenge myself. You know, that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
And then
That's
now
so real.
it's cool now to see, like I said, I didn't ever want to be a teacher or a coach or anything. I never set out to be this, but it's really badass now to coach people, because now I get to like enjoy them coming up, kind of like I was coming up when I hit that first deal and that 6-figure profit. Now I'm watching my students do it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that's badass. My boy Tone's got like 20 fucking houses on, he's about to build.
Yeah.
You know Tone? Tone from Virginia. Tone.
No, I don't think.
Anyway, one of my students got like 20 new construction homes. And it's just like, man, he's fucking kicking ass. We're always in the DMs and shit. I'm like, fuck yeah. He's like, hell yeah, man. I appreciate you for lighting the fire in my ass, you know.
And this guy's learning from you?
Yeah, he was a flipper.
Is he in the community?
Let's go, man.
Tone.
Is he in the community?
I'll send him your badge.
All right.
I think that's fucking dope, bro. Each one teach one, you know? And I think that the more that you teach, also you learn too.
Right.
You know, I never thought too, bro, like same exact fucking thing. But this is my first year coaching full time. Up until this point, I've only ever done real estate, bro.
That's dope.
And so like this being a whole year, I started my coaching company with a partner, bought him out of the organization and took over the brand, redeveloped the entire thing and started doing it. And man, I got a lot of hate, bro, for just doing the coaching.
That means you're doing something right.
Yeah, and that's exactly what my fucking mentor told me too, man. You know, and I don't regret it either, bro. I just have never taught full time before. You know, but I figured after 10 years of this shit, I should have something on my belt to say that I'm qualified to teach.
Yeah.
So like,
you're qualified after the $500,000.
Hell yeah, right. If you can do it once, you can do it twice.
Maybe there was a complex in me that just felt like I wasn't where I needed to be yet, you know? And I've done thousands of transactions at this point, man. And, you know, bro, like I tell you what, like nothing makes me feel better than seeing somebody succeed that I taught.
Yeah,
and
man.
I don't know why, man, but
cool.
it makes me excited seeing them do it. It's like I closed my first deal all over again.
Exactly.
I only made $2,100 on my first deal, dude. That was it. And I was supposed to make $5,000. I fucking did the paperwork wrong and brought the paperwork to the guy that I was wholesaling the deal from. And he was like, "You're making $5,000. That's way too much, Q." I said, "What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Like, you wanted this much for the property, man. What the fuck are you looking at my pockets
Yeah.
for?" And he was like, "You can make $2,000." And I was like, 2,100 and it's deal. You know what I'm saying? Talked him up a buck, and that was it.
But
to
I mean,
me,
2,100. Like you look back now, it's like it's only 2,100. But fuck,
That was
2,100 on your first deal is like fuck yeah.
Yeah, man.
it was
You know?
everything.
If
It
I was
made it real, is what
fresh
it
out
did
of
for
prison,
me.
I got 2,100. I'm like, shit, I hit the jackpot.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Because
man.
I think when I did my first deal, I was in college and I made like $7,000 and $12,000 on the next one. I thought I was.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me anything, bro.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was rushing a frat. I had a bunch of these like fucking frat dudes. Like I was trying to tell them like, dude, we need to get on this business tip. Like, you know, I had already done
Yeah.
the football shit. I already did all the partying in high school, bro.
Yeah.
But these people are just getting to college. So it's like a time for them to develop a new personality, get in the mix. But for me, it was too in a different way.
Yeah.
And I was telling these dudes, I'm like, bro, if we all just put our brains together, let's start marketing, let's start getting the real estate stuff. I started watching Max Maxwell, Jerry Norton, these people. I was like, bro, we can do it. And I remember I left the group chat. And then I deleted the app, but I was still in the group chat. And then I went back in the group chat. They're talking all this shit like, oh, this dude got too much pride, too much ego. He thinks he knows it all. Because I'm telling them like every day. You ever been around people?
Yeah.
You know how it is. You're telling them like, bro, we got
I
to
try.
do this.
They're not coachable.
They're not
is what it is.
coachable.
Yeah, they're not ready. Just-
Especially when you
I've
haven't
always
done it, you know,
been. That's
yourself,
hard.
you know, but you got the vision and the ambition, like you said.
Yeah, for sure.
But man, it's so crazy, bro. Like it's actually crazy. And then, you know, speaking of like the coaching and the impact thing, the first dude that believed in me, his name's Alex Shipkowski. And at the time he was 19, I was 18. He convinced me, or I convinced him to start real estate wholesaling with me. Okay. But then we made that first $7,000, we made that first $12,000, and then we made $11,000. And we were like, he told me, he was like, bro, let's drop out of college, bro. We gotta drop out of college and go full time in this. And I remember like, you know, my mom didn't know anything. Like she wouldn't really like know it. So I was like, I guess I'll give it a semester or two. Then we started doing the thing. And it's so crazy because just recently, he's been doing wholesale all this time. And I was like, I transitioned to flips 2 years ago. And I was like, dude, you got to start doing these flips, bro.
Yeah.
You're giving away all this money wholesaling these deals to other people. So he's like, you know what, Jay, you're right. So I helped him get his business funding. I helped him with the hard money. I got him with my lender, gave him 100 lending. He made $108,000 on his very first flip this year.
Damn.
Very first flip.
Shit. Come
That's
on,
dope.
man.
Very
Come
first
on.
flip. And I known the guy for 5 years. And I'm like,
And
dude.
you got him 100.
100.
That's crazy.
I got him 100. I only do 100. Just so y'all out there, people that go to your
Don't
hard
even
money
know.
lenders and they're telling you 80, 100, 90, 100, you ain't got a good enough deal.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'll tell you right now,
Yeah.
I got 100 on one of my deals. I'm all in at 368. Appraisal at 567. I have no problem getting lending on that. Got another one of my deals right now. I'm all in at 185. It appraised at 250. Like I have no problem getting
if
money.
you guys don't know what 100 is, he's getting 100% of the lot from the lender and 100% of the construction from the lender. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty
Sheesh.
crazy. You got to have a good deal, but the thing is, you got to be direct to
But
the
the
sellers.
the money's out there, man. I mean, that's right there, zero money down. So
Zero.
you ain't got no excuses.
Yeah.
None,
And then
dude.
don't tell him if you come to Eric with it, we'll help you get the funding too, man.
Bro,
Y'all
yeah.
really talking about 100.
Yeah.
See the strategy. You want me to give him the strategy?
Tell him,
See
give
the
it to
real
him, give it to
strategy.
him.
This is the real sauce, right? You go get the deal. If you have a good enough deal, right? So let's say in the fix and flip game, you're all in at 70%. If you don't know what the 70% rule is, just Google 70%, right? 70% rule, right? Hard money will give you all of that, 100. And then you have what's called closing costs and holding costs or carrying costs, depending on who you're talking to. And so in order to pay for that, a lot of people don't have money because the rate's pretty high. You paid, 14% on your first deal?
Yep.
I pay sometimes 12%. I pay 15% on some of my deals. But the way you afford that, right, is if you have good credit over a 680 score, right, you can get with Eric and get with me. We'll help you get business funding at 0%. And then you can use that to pay for the holding costs and the closing costs. So let's say an example, you have a deal and it's going to be worth $100,000 when you're done with it, or $1 million, right? And you're going to be able to be all into that deal for $70,000 or $700,000. If you're borrowing that from hard money, you're going to have holding costs and closing costs. But we can help you get hundreds of thousands of dollars at 0% to pay for that closing cost and holding cost expense that you're going to occur. So that's how you really do it with $0 out of pocket without asking people to borrow money.
Sauce,
No
man.
excuses.
No excuses.
Sauce.
That's the game, bro. Like
That's
right there, that's
sauce.
the game, bro. That's the game.
I mean, I hope y'all listening out there.
That's the game right there.
I love it, man. I love it. Dude, Eric, I really appreciate you being on my show. Jubaar, I appreciate you helping me to
Yeah,
co-host
man.
this.
Yeah,
It's
man.
super dope. We need to tag team more of these, man.
Sure.
For my people that are watching, bro, maybe somebody's listening to this in prison. I don't know.
Yeah,
What's
man.
the best advice that you would give to somebody out there that's trying to do what you're doing right now?
Man, if you are in prison, stay the fuck out the way and read and consume everything you can. Self-development books, entrepreneur books, business magazines, business books, real estate books, whatever you can. Keep focused on what's going to elevate you and take you higher. There's a lot of bullshit that goes on in prison and out here. There's a lot of distractions with women and drugs and fucking games or whatever, you know, your vice is. But just focus on things that are going to elevate you and bring you closer to your dreams and your goals. That's why a lot of people get fucked up. They don't focus on things that's going to take them where they want to go. They focus on things that's going to take away from them. So that's my number one piece of advice for y'all, man.
If it ain't adding, it's subtracting.
Amen.
Eric, before we go here, I want to ask you, I know you're a big reader, big consumer, and I want to ask you the same question, and I'll answer last. What's your top 3 books? If you had to just, no one knows anything, they're like, hey, man, this podcast was very inspirational. I got to figure out where to start somewhere. Give them your top 3 books, whether it's self-development, business, whatever it is. What would your top 3 be?
Well, my favorite author is Robert Kiyosaki. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, probably first book. You should probably read by him. But he writes a lot of badass shit, and he breaks it down and dummies it down to my level that I can understand it. So I definitely suggest Robert Kiyosaki. Another great book that I read was actually by Donald Trump. It's called The Art of the Deal. It goes into a lot of developments that he did and how he made so much money on the developments, and it still like fuels my fire today because on Trump Tower alone he fucking made like $50 million and got 3 penthouses or some shit. So I know, and that is what like instills the belief system in you, because you're reading about these people that are actually doing it. You know what I mean? Even if you are from Section 8 or wherever you are in prison and you don't have anybody around you that's motivating you or inspiring you, you got to get into the book and you got to read from these type of people that are going to inspire you and going to prove the concept, because they've already proven the concept, man. All you got to do is read about it, and next thing you know, you're going to believe it, and next thing you know, you're going to put that action and you're going to achieve it. So another third book I would say is Robert Kiyosaki, Art of the Deal. I mean, Tony Robbins for self-development, stuff like that. But yeah. We'll
Anything
Those are
Tony's
fire.
always fire. I love
Those
Tony
are fire.
shit. Yeah.
How about you, Q? What's your top 3?
My favorite book of all time is Outwitting the Devil, bro.
Oh,
because
yeah.
like Eric was talking about, there's so much temptation before the game and even when you're in it, dude. Especially when you're in it, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I fall into it. I'm not.
same.
I'll tell you what, bro. I have lost everything. I've lost my family. I've lost businesses, all due to temptation.
Yep.
And my shit was always just dumb fucking women and stupid ass things
Yep.
that I should have been
Yep.
staying away from.
Yep.
And a man don't know what he got until he loses it, And so I love that book because he talks about how to avoid temptation and how the devil's in the details
Yep.
of those things
Yep.
that are actually holding you back, even if you're not a believer, bro. It's such a great book because it goes over those things. And I don't think that that's talked about enough, man. And we all go through it when we start making a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's going to test who you are.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it's going to amplify the worst parts of you too.
yeah.
So that's one of my favorite books of all time. The second one is Darren Hardy's The Compound Effect. I read that one when I was locked up. And I love how he just talks about things compounding. Because when you're in there, really all you think about is the next day, dude. Hey, what's in front of you, and then fucking, hey, tomorrow's going to be the next day. Weekends don't even mean shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like another fucking day. Yeah. And everything's the same. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can't even imagine going through that as many times as you went through. But the compound effect really helped me out with just figuring out my days, dude, and making every single day count and doing little things that got me further. And then the third book that I love, bro, and to me, this is like the Bible of fucking personal development, is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's such a great fucking book, dude.
Yep.
So those are my 3.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Those are fire. I
read
love all
all of them.
those. I love
That's
all
dope,
those.
dude.
I've read all
Think
of
and
them.
Grow Rich, and I tell people all the time, you got to start with Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Yep,
For me,
for sure.
since you guys use a couple of the examples, I'll give a spin-off. The 4 Quadrants by Robert Kiyosaki is really good.
Yeah.
It teaches you essentially about how to, and I'll make that my number 1.
The cash flow quadrant.
It teaches, cash flow quadrants, and it teaches you the 4 quadrants in which you operate as an entrepreneur in general, right? Solo, business owner, and then the other ones like
Big business, investor.
business and investor, right?
Yeah.
And like how the taxes actually work too
Yeah.
in those quadrants. That'd be my first one, just because you had the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and then I would say Ego's the Enemy, right? That's a really good one. Ego's the Enemy is something that really like a lot of people who, you know, if you're like definitely from my culture, right, where we have like a lot of this hip hop, rah, 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 like I'm the man shit going on, right? You need that because you got to understand you are not the man, bro. Like when you're in the room, bro, shut up and just listen. Like you think I'm going to go give this dude advice, when they could give me more advice than I can give them. It's like, dude, the only thing that's thinking that you're better than people is your ego. And, you know, they say pride is the devil. Even in the Bible, it talks about how pride is like, you know, can be a part of the devil. So quadrant. I'd say the last one would be the Bible, right? I would say the last one would be the Bible just because people nowadays more than ever need morals, man. With all the distractions and all the things going on and people's like parents, like the parents aren't raising the kids, the internet's raising the kids, right?
Yeah.
Like the internet is teaching, thank God, like, you know, I at least had my mom like who knew like common sense because nowadays people got these tablet babies that don't know anything. And so the Bible is really going to give them a sense of morals, and they know like it's going to give you that direction and that sense of like, you know, hey, this is good and this is bad. So they'll definitely be my top 3.
Probably the only book you need.
Yeah, it is, right?
It's
Everything we're
got
talking about in
everything
there.
in it,
Man, I love this podcast. Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on, guys. And just for everybody here, I think the most valuable thing I got from this podcast was to just be coachable. You know, you got 3 guys in here that are also still learning.
Students.
And I'm like, I'm forever going to be a student. I learned so much from Eric today. And Jubaar, man, you're more than qualified to teach me, my friend. You can coach me any day, dude. I just learned a lot from you. The 100-100 thing. Like that's new for me, man. That's crazy. And I've been doing this shit for years, bro. You know, but I love it, dude. So I appreciate you guys being on my show. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's episode. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Let's get it.